Good evening. My name is Richard Cooper, and I'm running for president in 2020. Now, I just got back from a walk, trying to clear my mind before I got a chance to talk to you. In the last video, I announced that I was going to be running. And in this one, I'm going to start laying out how I want to fix these problems that I see. That's my girlfriend. Gotta turn that down real fast for a moment. She's checking up on me. Right now, she's out taking pictures at a convention. I'm going to touch back on that in a moment, because it's going to be important. First step to fixing a problem is understanding that you have one. You have to identify the problem. And man, we've got a lot of problems here in the US. I've had a lucky life. I have been very fortunate. I haven't been super rich. Haven't been super poor. Well, I've been homeless sometimes. And there were times when I had maids and just a great life. I want to explain where I'm coming from first, before I start to explain some of these problems. Because my unique perspective, well, it's given me, along with that luck, has given me an exclusive way of looking at life here in America. A way that I don't think most people have had the opportunity to live and see and experience. I'm in my early 30s now. And I've lived here in the US, down in Georgia, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., currently in Nevada, here in Las Vegas. I've lived in Mexico. I've lived in Panama. My dad is black. He's a military officer. He served in there like 40 years. He retired a couple years ago as lieutenant colonel. My mother, she was a school teacher when I was younger. She's done a bunch of odd jobs since then. My stepdad, well, my mother and my stepdad are both white, but my stepdad was a machinist. Or still is, actually. Done all kinds of things, from cutting metal and PVC, doing programming, and just like CNC work. A lot of stuff with his hands. I think he used to have to work with lights in some capacity out in LA. Both my mother and my stepfather are living in Denver now. I was born in Columbus, Georgia, on a military base. And from there, within the next 7 years, I would have visited other parts of the US. And as I previously mentioned, Los Angeles, Mexico, Panama. And I got to go to some great schools. My mom took a lot of time working with me, educating me. I knew about the planets, and I could speak another language, a second language rather. All before I was probably like 3 or 4. She used to take me to museums, and we'd get on the subway and we'd see different landmarks. I'd learn about art and science at a very early age. I remember when I was little, I used to take things apart, like the VCR. I remember one time I got in trouble for taking the VCR apart, and I was probably like 6 or something like that. And I took it apart, and my mom, well, I don't think my parents were very happy about that. But I put it back together and it worked. See, I love taking things apart, putting them back together, seeing how they work. It helps me to understand that everything that works is a system of other little things working together. And throughout my life, I've had to understand patterns, whether it's in art or music, baking, so many things. Now, I said I was lucky because besides all the little happenstance types of things that made me lucky, where maybe something bad didn't happen here or something good happened here, one of the luckiest things about my life is I've had time to think. I think every day. I think a lot. And I don't just think about myself, I think about others. Most of my day is thinking about how I can help other people. How can I be of service to other people? We're going to touch back on this, so stay with me. When I was younger, my mother, like I said, was a school teacher. And she thought it was very important that I started to learn, that I would learn to love learning. So she used to play games with me and, like I said, take me to museums, take me places. And I would learn to recognize those patterns. And learning to recognize patterns, learning how to take things apart and put them back together, made it easier for the next thing that I wanted to learn to be possible. Sometimes you can't learn one thing until you've learned something else. Presently, I'm working as a music engineer, a mix engineer, a live sound engineer, a songwriter. I run a videography company along with my girlfriend, a photography company, production company, a record label, a consulting firm. I'm a part owner of a club crawl. I'm helping a friend of mine with that. Previously, I've run a bakery with 2 partners and a large group of people helping make that possible. I'm a computer programmer, multiple languages, C++, PHP, Java, HTML, stuff like Visual Basic and a whole bunch of other stuff, SQL. So I help build web pages and work on applications. I remember making games when I was just a kid, making games for myself to play. That's back in the AOL days. I speak a handful of languages now. Mainly just English and Spanish, but I'm branching out into a few others. I love to communicate. Having been raised as a biracial person, my mother being white, my dad being black. You know, when I walk into a room full of black people, they see a white person at times. When I walk into a room full of white people, they see a black person. I speak Spanish and everybody thinks I'm Puerto Rican. I guess that depends on how my hair looks at the time as well. Never been afraid to be myself. It feels good. I feel like I've lived a pretty honest life. And I feel good about myself because I help others. And I've learned that helping the person next to me makes me better. Not just because someone told me that. It's not just that, but because I've seen it actually work. That's how I've been able to help run companies that have over 200 employees. You know, I was saying my girlfriend right now is working, taking pictures and video at a convention here in Las Vegas. I started getting her into photography and videography. I've helped her to have a better understanding on how to be self-sufficient. She's about my age and she's never run a business. Well, until now. Now she's running a business. She's running a couple, actually. Helping me run a few of them. And she's got stuff going for herself as well. It feels great. It feels great to help other people be able to do more themselves. That is my main goal as president. You know, I also work as a HOA president here, and I'm on my board for my larger HOA. I'm on 2 HOA boards. It's kind of like our smaller community and then a grouping of 2 communities. I love being involved in my community. It's what I do. I help. As a musician and a songwriter, I help people to become better musicians. I help to expand their options. I said I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I have the time to learn, the time to grow, the time to experiment, the freedom to do so. I feel good. I want to help you to feel better too. All of you. I want you to feel good about what you're doing, where you're going, and help you to help more people. Because see, there's no president who is going to personally help each individual person. I will do my very best. But the smarter way is to teach how to have a domino effect occur. I said I was going to talk about some of the problems we have in this country. By and large, one of the largest problems we have in this country is that we are uneducated. I could know more. You could know more. We all could know more. But when I think about where we're all going, see, we're all going towards the future. And I ask myself, how can we move towards the future? What is the best way? Those song lyrics from Whitney Houston's I Believe the Children Are Our Future come to mind. And it reminds me that my future isn't going to be set up by the people that are already here, but by the people that are going to come next. And I've got to do my part in making sure that those people are going to grow up to make good decisions. See, this country is nothing if it doesn't have an educated base of children that are going to grow up to be educated adults. Right now, we forget about our veterans. We forget about our elderly. As soon as somebody is 30 or 40 years old, they're getting kicked out the door. They're being forgotten about. Whether that's in healthcare or housing, Man, we can't do that. See, the older people are supposed to take care of the younger people so that when the younger people are a little bit older, they can take care of the older people and take care of the next generation. See, we help. We got two hands, one to help for both sides. And we're not doing that. I've been lucky because there's been a lot of people that have helped me. My parents have both been there for me, taught me so many things. And I've had so many mentors from my business at the bakery who taught me about how to do my taxes, how to take care of employees, how to do an inventory, how to balance my books, how to make a great product. Those mentors, they've helped me. And I'm now a mentor to others. I have a mentee, rather, who I work with from one of the local high schools. And really, a lot of times my consulting work is like mentorship. We need more of that. We've got to learn to educate each other, to educate this next generation. If we have better educated people, well, let me just take one of the random problems we have. We have healthcare in this problem, or in this country, that's such a problem. Now, I don't think anybody who's either a Democrat or a Republican with any sense in them thinks that people shouldn't be healthy. But how do we get there? I hear Democrats a lot of times say that they want to have universal health care, that everybody should have health care. The Republicans, I don't generally hear them say that they don't want everybody to have health care. They just don't want to pay for it. Let me explain this one real fast, because this is a simple one. We have a terrible type of diet here in America. I cannot trust my FDA, USDA, or other government agencies to make sure food is going to be safe for me. Now, I have some plans on ways to replace those, augment them, and other things. But we eat poorly here in America. It creates a myriad of health problems. If you went down the list of the top 10 health problems or causes of death in America, most of them are related directly to how we eat. Better educated people will live longer, healthier lives, which means they don't need to have so many health services. It put less of a burden on our health care. Remember that in supply and demand, in basic economics, the more something is in demand and the less there is as a supply of it, the higher the price is going to be for that service or that product. In this case, it's healthcare, and we need insurance companies, and those are a mess, but I'm not going to even go into that right now. Just understand that it's going to mean that you're going to have higher prices for that healthcare. It's not going to be affordable. If we want to have better educated people, those people are going to end up being healthier, putting less of a strain on that healthcare system, so there won't be such a demand. That starts to bring down the cost. However, at the same time, better educated people are also going to create more doctors, better educated doctors, ones who are not just in it for the money, they're in it because they love to help people. I believe in the doctors in this country. I think there's a lot of bureaucrats and red tape that make it a hassle, insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, who are in this to make money off you and me. There's some bad people in this world. But doctors are a great thing. If we have better educated people, we can help them to become doctors. And these doctors will increase the supply. There'll be a greater supply of healthcare, less of a need for healthcare. That's how you make the price change. Right now, there's a lot of people who need healthcare and not enough doctors. So the price is high. So we lower the demand for it, we raise the supply, and we change how this world is for us. I'll jump onto it from another point on here, to immigration. Immigration. I understand there are some bad people coming from all over the world. If you want to believe that the worst people in the world are coming from Mexico, south of the border, you're wrong. You're just wrong. And a wall won't really fix that. Might help. I'm not against the idea of a wall, but a wall is not going to fix all these problems. You know, in the past month, just here in 2019, I've read 2 stories about how either the military or the police, the border patrol, or somebody has had massive amounts of illegal narcotics coming into this country. They got caught bringing them in. That's outrageous. It tells me that it's not some illegal immigrant, as they say, trying to come into this country to bring drugs. Most of the time, people that are coming into this country illegally are coming here for work. All right? And they need to find work because they're uneducated and they cannot create work in their own country, or perhaps, and this is getting deep, maybe something has happened in their country that makes it so that work is impossible to have. But imagine if we were making people better educated here so that they didn't want to stay here, but they wanted to either contribute and make this place a better place because they know that helping other people makes them better, stronger, or they wanted to go back to their home country and make things better there. Wouldn't that be amazing? At the same time, more educated people would create more people that wanted to be things like doctors and lawyers, teachers, people, good lawyers, not just people out here trying to make $1 off some lawsuit, but people who want to help do things legally, to help with the legal process. We need a lot of immigration reform, but one of the things we need to do is make it easier to come into this country at a fast rate legally. Education will stop people from just coming to this country and being a slave, not paying taxes or doing whatever else. Education is the key to this. Now, our education system's messed up, but I know there are good teachers out there, and I support teachers. What a heavy burden to take on. I want to help teachers be able to teach more efficiently and to make more money. We'll talk about that another time. But education is the key to fixing all these problems, whether it is problems in the pharmaceutical industry where we have massive amounts of opiates coming out when we know that there are better alternatives. Better educated people know that they want to be of service because it helps them to be better. They'll start getting into public office instead of people that just want to make money. Education will help it so that we don't have such a problem with immigration. Education will make it so that we're not going to have people out here mass murdering. And we're going to get to this because I have some great ideas for educational reform. Education fixes everything. It fixes the military-industrial complex that we have. It fixes the healthcare problems that we have. It fixes the violent problem that we have. I mean, even if it helps so that we have a stronger economy because more people are going to be... I'm going to hold myself back on this because there's so much to go into on this, and I am so passionate about it. I love helping people. I want to help. I want to be president in 2020. Help me. Let's get this done. Thank you.